What is going on, everybody? This is the Digital Cypha Podcast. I am your host, Ebonix, alongside the Don CJG and Dio Zales. What is going on, fam?
Good afternoon, or I guess morning for you guys.
It is 5
morning
on
time.
your time.
It is free. Yes. It's been it's been a long week. It's been a long week. But I'm playing some games this weekend. It's been fun after sleeping a lot.
I want to see some Nikes come to my mailbox, bro.
Hey, look,
Yeah, you know what I'm
you let me know. I'll sort it out.
Because I know you guys got exclusive Nikes.
Oh, yeah.
Nikes. Over there. What is it? Foot Locker? Champs? What?
Yeah, bro.
What you
Luck,
working?
bro. We don't have champs over here.
Okay. Okay. So, Dio Zales, how you doing?
Doing good. Been playing Descent, playing an oldie, Enchanted Arms.
I played a
Keeping
bit of
the
Descent
old
too,
MMOs. Okay.
I'll get back to
yeah.
you, Don CJG. I'll get back to you.
Jumped in.
I got it.
Gotcha.
Fine. Don CJG, how you been?
Yo, I'm good.
What you been gaming? Man?
Man, it is. It's been a bit weird. I haven't had a huge amount of time, but I know at the end of last week, after the episode, I went to sleep. But I eventually played the Ascent.
Nice.
I quite enjoyed that.
Nice.
Played some more Halo, of course, and got a Back for Blood beta.
Okay. Speaking about Back for Blood, how was it?
It's quite nice. Like I didn't actually expect to get into the beta. I signed up last year.
Mm-hmm.
When they did the sign-ups for it, and I was like, because I've seen all this news about the beta coming up, and I was like, I didn't get my invite. What's going on?
Gotcha.
But I did get the email, so I was quite happy about that.
Okay.
And
you and Glink jumped in and
it was quite
tear up some zombies.
Yeah, well, this thing, no one I know got invited. Like, you didn't get invited, Deal, you Glink, nobody. So I was like, I might play this for myself.
So now you know how I feel.
Yeah, but you know what? Surprisingly,
Yeah.
it said in the email, they were like, here's free friend codes you can give out to people.
Got you.
So, considering it's a 4-player co-op game, having a beta where they give out friend codes,
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, this is great.
Go.
This is great. So
Okay.
they did have a bit of fiasco because they said, here's the friend codes, the beta's live now. And I remember giving you a code. It don't work. But
Exactly.
it took a while for them to actually get them active and make them work. But now that it's actually up and running, I really like the game.
You really like the game? Okay.
I really like this game. I got to play it on Thursday night, I think,
Uh-huh.
which was when I got home at like 10 p.m. or something from work. So I didn't really get a lot of good practice or good time playing. But I'm playing a lot this morning, and I'm actually really digging it.
Okay. We gotta jump into it later on. Dio said he might be interested. Is that right? Before it comes out, you want to give it a little, gameplay action.
Well, I was gonna say, like, does it have the PvP in there too, or just the PvP?
Yeah.
Really?
It's got a full suite.
Hmm.
It's got a full suite. It's quite a lot in here, to be fair.
I'm on Dio's team. I'm just saying it now.
Yeah, I
I'm on...
think.
You and Glink versus me and Dio. Let's go.
No, it's a 4v4, bro. We're all on the same team.
Okay, all right. I see. I never played it, so that'll be pretty cool. I thought it was
I'd
2v2.
be curious to see if you could just lock it in to be zombies all the time, or is it like where it takes turns, right?
I think it takes turns.
Takes
I haven't touched the PvP in this yet because I've just been trying to adjust.
Okay.
But because these are the same guys who made Left 4 Dead,
Yep.
so I'm assuming it's gonna work pretty much almost identical.
Okay. Cool.
Word. So let's step a little bit away from the beta for a second, and let's go into a little bit of history here. I'm assuming both of you guys have played Back for Blood previously, like in the previous games.
You mean Left 4 Dead?
Oh, Left 4 Dead. No, Back for Blood. Is Back for Blood a
Oh.
new IP or is it an old IP?
Back
It's
4
a new
Blood's
one.
made by the same guys who made Left 4 Dead, but
Yeah.
because what is it? Valve who owns Left 4 Dead IP,
Who?
Yep.
and not the actual Valve,
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
and not Turtle Rock who actually made the game.
Got you. Cause my question would be the the mechanics of the game, right? I was looking a little bit online, and I'm wondering, the zombies for Call of Duty, does it mimic this or is it vice versa?
No,
No, it's very different.
no, very different.
Okay.
This basically, if I had to put it simply, if you played Left 4 Dead, this is just a bit more of a modernized version of that.
Okay. Got you. Cool. All right. Dio, what you got
Yes.
for us today?
Well, there's actually quite a lot of, like, not big news, but a lot of MMO news, like a little scattered across.
All right, give
Bless
us one.
Unleashed.
Give us one.
Yeah, Blessed Unleashed. They announced twisted field bosses. Like pretty much, this is their summer update where things are being awakened. So this should affect not only dungeons and crusades, but also open world combat. You're also gonna see updates to the UI. They're changing up skills. They're changing up combos. It was supposed to launch on August 19th, but now it's to be determined because of crash bugs. But they're working on it. I just pretty happy to see that because there's a lot of people who give Blessed Unleashed negative reviews because of the tie into Bless Online. But as long as they keep working on the game and keep making the game better, I don't see anything wrong with it. Especially because it's not Bless Online; it's a completely different game, and it has a very unique combat style, which I think sets it apart from a lot of other action MMOs. Like, you can still play ESO and play this and still have a different experience because the combat style is just so different.
Well, it
So-
has that open world PvP like you wanted in ESO. It's there.
Correct. Yep.
And my question would be, sir, are you ready to jump back in on your level 20 and finally enter into PvP, or are you still kind of holding back a little bit?
Well, the main reason I stopped playing was because I was actually having a decent time with it. My biggest problem was that I bought a bundle and I didn't get everything in the bundle, and then I tried to talk with customer service and I had a very bad experience with customer service. So that's the main reason why I stopped playing the game.
Do me a
I
favor.
hope that.
Download the game, and when you launch with the old character,
Yep.
see if all these things starts popping up. Because I did last time, and then I just started getting all these stuff that just overloaded my inventory like ridiculously.
I actually did that like a month ago, hoping that would work, and that didn't happen.
Oh, it didn't happen? Okay.
No,
Gotcha.
but
So
I'm just glad in general that they're still working on this because it does have a player base, who are really into it. So and as long as MMOs are getting better in general, it makes other companies have to compete with each other. It helps everybody as long as they're all doing well.
Gotcha. Cool. So this month there's gonna be 3 events for Xbox, which is interesting. There'll be the ID at Xbox, which is gonna be August 10th.
Oh yeah, can't wait for another one of those.
That's gonna be alongside with Twitch. QuakeCon, which is August 19th to the 21st.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be this month as well. And then we also have Gamescom, which is gonna be August 25th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's gonna be a crazy month on the mid to last of August. So we'll be seeing hopefully we see some exclusives or some announcements that solidify some rumors. Or maybe just some indie games that we were looking forward to playing finally get released. One of those categories, I believe, that's going to be at the ID at Xbox would be like JRPGs and stuff like that. That's been hinted at. So I know Dio's definitely going to be feeling that for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's on the Xbox side front. What's going on? Yo, Dio, what's going on with EA?
Well, I think this is kind of good news for people who like single player games. Mass Effect Legendary Edition sales were well above EA's expectations. Same thing like how it happened with the Star Wars Fallen Order, which is pretty interesting because this is the same company that was pretty much saying single player games are dead, multiplayer games are the way of the future. And because of these sales, you know, they're definitely a lot more interested in investing in these IPs.
So the I was looking at this one thing, and I guess was it the executive, maybe CEO or whatever, was talking about, you know, they're not getting credit for their sales or for the you know, Respawn, like how Respawn brought, you know, Star Wars and into the single player arena and then made money, whatever, and then they got some backlash from the community saying like, yeah, it was Respawn, it wasn't EA. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure.
I find it interesting that they have the can I say they have the balls to say stuff like that, knowing that it wasn't really their. Yeah, it might be their money because they're the ones that purchased Respawn and they got the green light, but it was Respawn back to back solidifying games to be playable and not really being like, you know, soul sucking demons, right? So we look at Apex Legends, we look at Titanfall, and then we look at Star Wars,
Battlefield,
and yeah. What Battlefield is not Respawn though.
Oh well, no, but I'm talking about EA in general. Their multiplayer games. But
I guess we can say Battlefield as well. I mean, you know, compared to FIFA and all the other stuff that's been going on, you know, and these are major franchises, you know, I think the respect should mostly go to Respawn and to the respective studios more than the company itself. I'm just saying, you know,
100%.
I think the company should evaluate how they run themselves and look at the studios that they purchased. You know, I'm just saying, like, because I don't know. This is up for discussion, but if I own a company, yeah, I would definitely feel proud. But I don't want to take the glory away from a studio. Somebody is playing a game during the podcast. How dare you?
I was clicking in my right stick.
Yeah, that's my highly sensitive headphones. Corsair RGB $399. Don't buy it. It's too expensive. You know, I feel like I would be kind of, you know, it would feel kind of weird for me to say, yes, and my studio has done this underneath our direction, and we have made thousands and thousands of sales, or billions of sales, or whatever the case may be, units were sold. You know, that would be kind of PR and kind of like, like vibe, you know? So, hey.
Well, I guess it just comes off that way because it would be different, right? If EA was someone who we liked, you know what I mean? Like, if it was a publisher that everyone universally liked, it wouldn't bother people to hear that. But when you see them doing one thing and then praising another thing, it doesn't make sense in that respect. But they're also the publisher, so they're always going to try to control the narrative, right? Like, just like how I was saying, like, single player games are dead and multiplayer games are the future, just like how they're trying to control the narrative of this. They're always going to try to go which way they think the players are going, or try to control the players in some kind of way they think is going to make them more money. So it's not to give EA an excuse, but it makes sense to why they say these things. It's just that they need to be a lot more self-aware of how they're perceived by the community, and they definitely need to do a lot more in earning its respect back, you know?
Yeah. Gotcha. That's, I mean, bro, I don't know what to tell you about that, but the New World got delayed.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see it.
That was supposed to be the WoW killer, right? That's been on the news so far. That and Lost Ark.
Well, I mean,
Mhm.
people have been saying this MMO, well, not just this MMO, what every MMO who's come out ever since World of Warcraft came out is gonna be the WoW killer, right? I mean, the only and people who understand MMOs understand that it's not any game that's gonna kill WoW. It's WoW that's gonna kill WoW. By bad management, which we're seeing now, bad work environments, which we're seeing now. So I wouldn't say that this would be a WoW killer. I think for PvP players,
Mhm.
this is definitely going to be a game that they're going to really enjoy because I mean, first of all, that's what it was developed for, was PvP in mind. PvE players probably would not, I don't want to say steer clear of it, but PvE was an afterthought. They pretty much added PvE to this game because they realized they were really missing out on too many players. And this is just the problem with MMOs in general. It's a pretty small market. A lot of people assume MMOs are like a huge moneymaker, and they're really not. They take a lot of development time, they take a lot of money, take a lot of advertisements, and there's a lot of competition for a very small player base, right? I mean, a bigger player base would be like first-person shooters and third-person shooters, or even sports games. Um, it's looking good. Most people who are playing this are having fun with the crafting system in the PvP, but any hardcore raiders or dungeon goers are probably not going to enjoy it as much. I think it's good that they're delaying it because I think the main reason they're doing it because they're trying to develop their dungeons more in their PvE side. But I mean, one more month I don't think is enough time to really
Right.
do that.
Flesh out a
Because you
part of
still,
the game, yeah.
I mean, it sounds more like an optimization than you know what I'm saying? Because you fix bugs
Yep.
and then you have to make sure that after you fix it, that the dungeon remains optimized, right, for release.
Exactly.
So we're talking the first 2 weeks testing every dungeon, and next 2 weeks, I don't want to say make every dungeon gold like how a game goes gold, but you're just making sure they're optimized for release, and then the beta testers then test it, and then it goes live. So who knows, man? But I played the game last year, or was it the beginning of this year, like early. I was part of the alpha. I found it pretty cool. And like Dio mentioned when it was first announced, I think we said it on the podcast that the neglect for gamepad really is a bummer, and to me, to be honest, because I mean, honestly, that game really feels good, but not as well on keyboard and mouse. In my opinion, I'm not a keyboard and mouse type of person.
This is the game made by Amazon as well, right?
Yes.
Correct.
I do wonder, with it being Amazon, if they don't, I don't want to necessarily knock the developers, but I do wonder how much of an understanding they have about this kind of market and accessibility and usability for the players who want to actually jump in. So I think, especially nowadays, I feel like controller support for PC games is kind of almost, it's almost unnecessary.
Oh, for sure. I mean, especially in a game like this, honestly, with it being action combat, you could definitely play with a mouse and keyboard, right? People do it, but when you look at people who are playing games like Dark Souls or anything that's really depends, like, with dodge rolling and blocking, you want to use a controller. It just feels more comfortable and it's easier. And honestly, the game doesn't have that many cooldowns or buttons for it to not exist on a controller. It pretty much, and I don't want to say because I haven't played it completely, but from what I've seen, it looked like a simplified version of ESO. It still looks good. I would still want to play it, but I think that for me, I know when ESO first launched, my plan was to play it on a computer and then transfer my character to the Xbox, and I just did not get into it because I really did not enjoy how it felt playing it on a mouse and keyboard. And then once it launched on Xbox, I was all about it. I was like hooked on that game for years. So hopefully they'll bring it. I think they will. It's just only a matter of time. And even if they don't, there's gonna be people who do it themselves with mods and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out who they hired to create this, because I think that's an important thing to consider. To go mouse and keyboard exclusively is pretty bold, to be honest, meaning that they had a target audience in mind for this game, right? So that's something to consider. Probably look into it some more as it gets to release. When it was asked about gamepad, they said that it was not in plans to do so. This was on like a Reddit or some form of forum, and I mean that response just blasted. I mean it's just like what? So
Right.
hopefully they took that as evidence to add gamepad as an option. So
Yeah, I
but,
think in general, they're just kind of finding their legs, right? Because I don't think they've had a successful launch of a game yet.
right.
So
I mean,
this will be
there's-
their first actual launch
right,
of a game.
exactly. But what's going on with Lost Ark? I mean, we're hearing some news about New World, but Lost Ark is like a competitor, right?
Well, I would say it's definitely a competitor for like Diablo and Path of Exile. It's more MMO-ish than those games, so it's definitely going to be competing with, New World and WoW and Final Fantasy. It's kind of like in the middle of those two genres. They've just recently a bronze founder pack, so they're
Okay.
they're really trying to push these like founder packs.
Uh-huh.
This one doesn't look really invasive, but it's just really cosmetics, and it allows you to play the beta and get that 3-day head start at launch.
But to see the bronze and be like, oh, it's not invasive, but then you look at the bronze and you skim over the platinum and you be like, damn.
Exactly. yeah. It's pretty much just another way to like get people into it, right? Because I mean, you're looking at the platinum, which is $100. Looking at the gold, that's $50. The silver is like $25.
$100.
Yeah.
Bro, okay. I honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. This is just my thoughts. I can care less about the $100. The $100 to me is okay. But it's what's within the $100, right? Because if you're that avid for the game, you know what I'm saying? Like if what was it, Diablo 4, the new one, right?
Diablo 3 is the newest one, with Diablo 4 is coming out like probably in another 2 or 3 years.
Now, if Diablo 4 that's coming out soon is multiplayer, MMO style, right? But it's all Diablo, like 100% Diablo.
Yep.
Right. And it speaks the language. It's like all giddy, right? You're like every time you wake up, you're doing I'm so excited and I just can't. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna put down $100 because it speaks your language, is what you want. And so that $100 is kind of, I mean, I've put down I think $150 for like Reach, the limited edition with the warthog.
Statue.
Yeah, like
Okay.
people would have been like, yo, you nuts. I would have never done that. But yeah, that's you. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I get it, and I understand us as a panel how we feel about it. But I'm looking at that, like if I have $100, I would have to like really look at each and every item and make sure like that's something that I can get into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for instance, the character slot. You know what I'm saying? How bad is a character slot? You know, an extra character slot. You still have to purchase another character slot when you get the game anyway, right?
Yes.
So you're
Well, I mean, if you want more than one character, right?
right. So you basically pre-ordering a game that has an extra character slot, and then the founder's title, which is fine. Now the exclusive armor, the founder's exclusive armor, they're not showing any information on what that would do to the character. I would hope that the exclusive armor is just show and tell and not I'm badass no matter where I go and whatever dungeon I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, from what I've read, the armor and pretty much everything is cosmetic. It's really just the $25 and above that you get, like the in-game currency. The $50 and above, you're getting some extra like little supply stuff. So it's definitely not as bad as other games that I've seen with these kind of these kind of deals. I'll say, but I definitely understand what you're saying. Like, when you have an established IP, right? Like, you loved Halo already, so it wasn't hard to put down on that. This is a new IP to us. We haven't played this. We're hyped about it because we've seen it in Korea for what 10 years now. But for people who've played it, because there are people who downloaded VPNs and
yeah,
have played it on Korean and like Russian servers just to play it. They'll definitely put down on that $100, right? If they're really into it already. I think this $15 one for the bronze is definitely there to try to
get somebody,
grab up exactly the people who are kind of skittish. Like, they want to play it, but they don't want to put down any money. But $15 is like, that's cheap enough that, and I can still play.
You're not going to be on
for
that
well,
last
the key point to
that,
the key point to that bronze is that you have beta access.
Yes, and the head start.
And a head start, which is 3 days, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. Because the beta access is basically you can play it up until the 3 days, right? But then
Yeah,
your stuff is wiped.
Yeah.
Your stuff is wiped, and then you have 3 days of starting brand new.
Correct.
That's fine by me, because I get to see the changes over time, and then I can also recommend or whatever as the game progresses into being launched. Because here's the other thing too, and Dio can chime in here, is that I regret not fulfilling the original Final Fantasy story. OG. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like,
I got what you mean. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
The original Final Fantasy 14.
yeah, because I have that save file on PC way back, but of course, it's become Realm Reborn. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's no longer there. It's been cataclysmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. That's and Dio can even because we of course I had my thing with Asmund Gold, but as he continues to play, and as these other guys continue to play the game, I'm starting to see some things about the game that even compels me to continue to play. You know what I'm saying? I love the game.
Oh, for sure.
Honestly. But to know that the game used its problems to create a new game and created its own lore in that way is pretty awesome.
Exactly.
So with this, some people might say, oh yeah, this is Amazon, this is their first way. We don't know what Amazon is going to do to the game. But is the experience, right? It's gonna be free to play, right?
Lost Ark, yes, it will be.
Okay, it's my bad. We're talking about Lost Ark. But wait, Lost Ark is Amazon too?
It's the publisher, but not the developer.
Oh, Smilegate, that's right.
Yep.
So I mean, if you guys, anybody out there listening, watching, podcasts, you trying to get into an MMO, you just like, free to play. I don't want to put in for the beta, $15 above. I mean, ask yourself this: if you were there during the beginning of Final Fantasy 14 and experienced the cataclysm, and you have a feeling that could be a thing with Amazon. Not to say that it will, because it might be awesome coming out the gate. Because again, Lost Ark has been out for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? Question is it worth you purchasing? And if you feel like, hey, it is, you just don't, have questions about it, $15, man. Give it a try. If you don't like it, $15.
Yeah. Wait 3 days and play for free.
Yeah, and then you and then you still have the title, you still have all that stuff, right? For me, after talking to Dio,
it's gonna be a good game. I mean, regardless, I just don't know how predatory you're gonna be with, the in-game shop. Because I know the Korean version is super pay to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, at least compared to what Westerners consider pay to win. They're not intending to make it the same way as the Korean shop, but we'll have to see when, a few months pass in the game's lifespan. But I think like a better comparison to that Final Fantasy analogy would be, I don't know if you guys know this, like the people who made League of Legends Riot Games, they're making an MMO as well.
Oh, are they?
Yes, and it's going to be based on the League of Legends lore, which is really interesting when you think about it, because League of Legends is a super established IP, right? I mean, between the esports,
that game's been around for a very long time.
yeah, it makes a ton of money. I think honestly, Riot Games makes more money than Blizzard, to tell you the truth, off of League of Legends, which is when you think about that, that's a pretty big deal, because they don't even have an MMO yet. They just have League of Legends and their card game on the phone, and I think there's like a League of Legends like mobile version.
Mm-hmm.
And with them making an MMO, right? Obviously, it could fail because this will be their first MMO, but they have an established IP, just like Final Fantasy did, so they can't let it fail.
Right.
So with that, because I mean, with New World, if it fails, it's not an established IP. So like, Amazon could be like, well, whatever, we tried, let's try something new. We'll get like something else, blah blah blah. But with this is League of Legends. This is something that's been around a long time. It would be interesting in that respect to see it fail, just to see what they would do in comparison to. I don't want it to. I would love a great MMO, but it would be interesting to see if that happened, right? Like in a way. I don't think it will. I highly doubt it. I'm pretty sure
for science.
It would
be interesting.
For science, yes, for science. Like Riot Games, just release a bad version, like psych, here's the good game, like a month later, like just for science, just to see what people are gonna do. But that would be a pretty interesting thing to happen.
Wow. We said science, like science, or for science?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, science, like Bill Nye, the science guy.
Okay, I see where this is going. Hey, so I'm
swift transition.
Yo, when I heard that about Riot Games, because the thing about it is I've always been interested in their League of Legends, but I just what do you call it, MOAB, MOBA?
MOBA.
What do you call it? MOBA?
Yeah.
MOBA.
Yeah.
I've never really dealt pretty well with them, especially with the other joints,
Smite.
like Smite and so forth. I just didn't understand how to play it, because you need to have a team. That means that team has to be as badass as you are. And then here comes this new guy coming in, have no clue what to do, running around in circles, shooting things, and you're killing mobs, dude. You don't leave the mobs alone. You need to kill the person. All this stuff. So yeah, I'm not too well with two mobs. Oh, wow. We call it again?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend League of Legends being your first MOBA, because it is super toxic.
Yes, League of Legends
new player,
was my first MOBA. I remember playing that many
did
years
you?
ago. Yeah,
wow.
I played a bit of League back in the day.
Wow.
It was not very good.
No.
Yeah, it's not a good community. I mean, in my opinion, it's not a good community, especially if you're a new player. Most people are not very patient. Most people are going to talk very badly to you. They're not going to be helpful. You're almost off
Guinness World Records of like worst players of
yeah. I mean, a better first MOBA honestly would be Heroes of the Storm by Blizzard.
Okay.
Even though not as many people play it, I think that's the main reason why it would be a better one, because people want their community to grow, right? Like any game that has a small community, they're going to be nicer because they want people to play it. Smite's actually not too bad of a community. I mean, especially if you depending on which platform you play it on. I know you don't like it because of the whole god thing, but they have other characters in it. There's heroes in there as well, like King Arthur and Merlin. They're not gods. They're in there.
So Smite is Smite. You know what I'm saying? It's a MOBA. And that's one of the things. The other things is like there's so much in there that I have no clue about. I would want to research the characters before I actually get into the game, to be honest. But that's just me being OCD about that. You know what I'm saying? But I am actually interested in that $100 founders pack. And,
okay.
I might give it a shot later on. Not now.
Well, you have time, because it comes out I think November. I believe.
Oh, that's plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my friends already started playing that joint. I was like, right now? Like honestly, yeah, they're playing that joint. So.
Oh, they're playing like the Korean version of it?
No, there's a beta that you can actually jump into. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In other news, so while Xbox has their events happening this month, we can't leave out, the competition. And so the state of play, PlayStation will be in September. There's some anticipations that they're hoping for. I don't really play PlayStation games that much, except maybe Genshin Impact and God of War, on replay, because it's not really much for me. I would definitely get into Miles Morales, but I'm too lazy to jump into it now. You know what I'm saying? After there's so much on Game Pass, so
Yeah.
And then
Especially
Nintendo,
now in peak Game Pass season.
Nintendo Direct is happening as well in September.
Yep.
With some rumors about Donkey Kong platformer coming out, and some other, and I say rumors. There's anticipation that they may have news about that. And then Metroid, some news about Metroid as well.
Metroid Dread.
Anything on that side, deal that has piqued your fancy regarding Nintendo and the possibility that they would share some information during their Nintendo Direct?
I'm just waiting also. I mean, I know Genshin Impact is supposed to launch on the Switch as well. When that happens, we'll see. Also, I think another thing that's going to be pretty interesting, I mean, this affects all the gaming consoles, and we're still kind of waiting when it will happen, is Warframe being cross-play and cross-save between all platforms.
Can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. So we'll see. Maybe we'll see some of those announcements during those, state of plays or directs.
Dio.
Mm-hmm.
Have you downloaded Warframe?
Yes.
Okay. If you go into the clan, you will see the dry dock is available.
Okay.
Here's the problem.
Oh no.
We got
exactly
work.
what you want to hear.
We got work, bro. We got work. So there's a completely separate universe to where you get your actual ship that you have to build each piece separately, right? You have to build a ship. So if you're interested, let me know, and we'll schedule a day per week, or maybe twice a week or something that we just go in. It's up to you. But now the thing about it too is there's a guy who's in the clan, right? Super cool.
Okay.
He knows all about it and everything, but he's not I'm not gonna name names, but he's not your 411 like the people that we've had.
I know exactly who we're talking about.
Hey.
Yeah.
He's not the 411, you know what I'm saying, in the midst of gameplay when everybody's like focused and like, oh, and did you know? Like, no, he's not on that level. You know, but yeah, he has some insight on getting the getting the ship put together, where to go and stuff like that. So whenever you're ready, we'll get the clan together and go on a hunt to build our ships. The ships are independent to the character, meaning my exclusive to the character or exclusive to you. I can join your ship, but when I'm building my ship, you'll be building your own ship. So it's it's not a clan ship. It's your ship that outside of your archwing. So that's something I wanted to throw out there since I got you on the podcast before you disappear for another 6 days, and then I hear from you again. Everybody
like that, man.
Dude, everybody's like. You ever see that Geico commercial? The guy comes up from the rock and it's like... Anyways, moving on. So Psychonauts 2 has gone gold. Anybody has any plans on jumping into that game?
Yeah, man. I haven't played the first one. Just I don't really find myself with the time to. So I'll be jumping into the second one blind. But I'm super curious, man. And obviously Game Pass, so there's no barrier to entry for it. So I'm quite excited to get hands on with a new single player game.
Now, Psychonauts 2
definitely gotta play the first also.
Yeah, the Psychonauts 2 would be a direct sequel. Like
yes,
almost like a week or two happened in game time, and then boom, this happens or something of that nature, based on what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
So that might change your you're not playing the first one. It's pretty
Yeah,
still cool.
it,
It's
yeah,
still
I've
cool.
heard that too, and that's kind of why I kind of want to play the first one, but I just don't find myself with the time.
Gotcha. Gotcha. In other news, former, I say former, but it's still rumor that it's former or ex. Elder Scrolls devs are creating a new MMO, or no,
Really?
let me just say RPG. I'm gonna say RPG for now, like a single player RPG. Let me not say MMO. It's called Wayward Realms.
Wayward Realms.
Yeah. And it's the devs who assisted with the Elder Scrolls Daggerfall 2. Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, and with an Arena. I guess there's a game called Elder Scrolls Arena.
That was the first one. Yeah.
That was the first one. Okay.
Yep.
So those are the devs that's making this game, and based on what I'm hearing is that it is a classic RPG, not like your modern day ESO type. It's gonna be a little bit more. I want to say which one was. I get a feeling like it might be like what's the name of that game? Pillars of Eternity, but in third person, it could be. So that's something that we could look into. So I just wanted to throw that out as well. Blizzard Blizzard president steps down. That was something that was major this week. Not sure how well that was received in the community, especially with the current issues that are going on. But I guess, is that a forward step for progress, I guess?
Probably. Well, I think it's part way, but obviously I think the issues at Blizzard and Activision it's so widespread and systemic that you cut off one head and another one appears, right?
Yeah, and I mean it's not that I really dislike the guy, J. Allen Brack, but he definitely was not like, even before all this, he kind of had like a lack of understanding what the community wanted. Like, this is the guy that during a BlizzCon someone asked, could we ever have old servers like original World of Warcraft, and he was like, no. And you wouldn't want to, like, you think you do but you don't. That was him.
Wow.
So yeah, so he had to chew crow, and he did his whole spiel where he was like, everybody likes ice cream, I personally like chocolate, but I know you guys like vanilla. That was like his cue to let us know WoW Classic was coming. So
yeah,
it kind of sucks because he's been with Blizzard for a very long time. He definitely added a lot to the game itself. But at the end of the day, I think he became detached from it, and people just had to move on. I find it interesting that he's getting replaced by two people, though. What's that, Bonix?
Is this the same person who got like millions of dollars?
No, that's Bobby.
Okay. Yes, Bobby Kotick.
That's Bobby.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he has also, to an extent, because I mean he was the president of Blizzard itself, but I don't know, like, I haven't never looked into like what kind of bonuses he's got, but I'm sure he got some pretty significant bonuses as well.
It's interesting that you made mention in the last statement before I jumped in there. One of those persons is Mike Ybarra from Xbox.
Yes.
And that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be very interesting.
He was a very avid WoW player. Even when he was employed by Microsoft, and Microsoft was pushing the Game Pass. He was around when the Game Pass got released, and he was playing PC, playing WoW, and very, very communicative with the community of WoW. So he got his dream job with Blizzard. This happens, and then he's moving up into a leadership position to move the company. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a dream. Hopefully they bring WoW up to where it should be. make the game better. But I would hope that with his previous ties and his relationships with Xbox, that the smart thing for them to do if they want to compete with, Final Fantasy 14, is bring it to console like Final Fantasy 14 has, because that would only grow its player base. So I would wonder if, yeah, I mean, just like Final Fantasy is a Sony exclusive at the moment, would World of Warcraft become a Microsoft exclusive at the moment? That would be pretty interesting if that actually happened.
That would be,
and I could see it happening. Yeah.
And you're dreaming about it happening. Make it happen.
I mean, I would like it to happen, but there would be I mean, they've been working on controller support for at least a good year or two now.
Okay.
Making it native on the game itself.
Oh, nice.
I mean, most players do not play it like that because it's still not very good. There's a lot of mods out there for it that make it better, but they would really have to gut a lot of the buttons that it has. Because it definitely has more keybinds than Final Fantasy. But then again, I would have to get far from Final Fantasy to know that. But I would expect it definitely does, because Final Fantasies are already balanced over controllers,
Yeah. Let me know, Dio. I'll carry you.
Yeah, I would love to finish Final Fantasy. It's just I would have to definitely play it with a different mindset. I was definitely enjoying it last time I played it, but my thing is,
you had some companions. You had some companions that was not ready like you were. Let's just be honest.
No, it's not even that. It's just that and every game has its things, right? What they excel at and what they don't. Final Fantasy really excels at its storytelling. I think it excels very well with its RPG elements where it comes to, classes and stuff like that. But it doesn't have the customization that I'm looking for, right? Like, I want to be able to decide where my points go. I want to be able to decide what kind of gear I'm putting on and how it's going to affect my rotations and stuff like that, which World of Warcraft used to do very well, which it's not doing as well as it used to, which I would feel in that department at the moment, Elder Scrolls probably excels the most, but it's not where I would want it to be either, but
yeah,
we'll see. I mean,
and open world PvP, I know you would like that too.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I really miss from back in the day. It's just not really. I mean, even World of Warcraft. I mean, it's in the game, but with how they've separated it from the base game, it's a very different system than what it used to be. And I know that's not everyone's thing, but that's why they had PvP servers and they had PvE servers, so people didn't have to deal with it if they didn't want to.
Word. So a little bit of news. So Steam Deck, this week there were some announcements. Right now they're doing I think it's the black and white colors. I know black is predominantly what you see, but I think they were doing black and white color schemes, and they have plans to do more. And then they also talk about when you can stream games into your Steam Deck, but it will last up to 8 hours. And I think as a device, I think it actually lasts 8 hours of battery time as well. I might be wrong, but I believe
that's the last thing I saw.
So that's cool. And the company Valve what they're trying to do with the Steam Deck is to make it its own category in the gaming industry or in technology as a whole. Because it's right now is a handheld, it's a gaming, it's a PC as a handheld. But the thing about it that's different between this and probably PSP, PS Vita, and Nintendo Switch is that customization, full access to the hardware and software, and I mean you could play anything on any game. You're not bound, or there's not proprietary applications, right? So they're really trying to make this into a category so that it feels like they want to be the first ones to have ever done it, right? PC in your hand, pretty much. And when I think about it, my imagination flies sometimes. I'm starting to think about movies like Total Recall, Minority Report, and all these other like science fiction movies that have like technology that during the time blew our mind, and how we're getting closer to the time when, it was mainframes that turn into computers, that turn into laptops, that turn into tablets, that turn into phones.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Is this the next step in that evolution?
Are we gonna possibly see handheld games that are VR, but you don't have VR? You're playing it in your hand, right? And it's just basically a screen that's, like a glass, but you're playing the game. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're getting closer to it, and I might be over speaking it, but it just feels that way because they're trying, like Valve is trying to create its own category, and with that category, you can enhance or evolve that category into something completely different moving forward. So, what do you guys think about that?
Well, I think this is the right step in the right direction, because pretty much with a mobile PC, it kind of gets away from, and not that I dislike, what's the word, exclusives, but it gets more people on the same page where they're able to play a lot more games together. Because I would imagine most people who are going to play on this device, I mean, at least how I plan to play with it, is that I could kind of chill out on my couch or on my bed or whatever, but still be able to play multiplayer games with whoever I want to play with.
Right.
Or even if, like, let's say I wanted to, like, just chill out and, like, stream on it, right? Because that's going to be another option right there as well. It's going to be an easier way to stream for some people.
Yeah.
And you'll always be able to take it with you no matter where you go. I mean, like, imagine, like, these big streamers who are used to playing whatever game that they're used to playing, but, like, usually they can't bring their whole PC with them, but now they'll be able to at least do little things on whatever game they play. Not to the same effect as they could with their, awesome PCs at home, but they'll still be able to hang out with their community and do whatever it is that they do. I think this is gonna help out not just in entertainment, but like even like business aspect. I mean, especially because it runs Windows and Linux. I mean,
Yeah.
you could even use this for schoolwork and stuff too, to an extent.
I mean, you can put in a docking station. You have a full blown operating system going on your PC. I mean, not on your PC, but what do you call it when it's just mouse keyboard and a monitor, pretty much. With the docking
pretty much.
station. Yeah. So
it's pretty amazing.
So I'll say this deal: if you're streaming and you're walking around, I'll be that dude. Be like, yo, I'm watching a stream, and I'm just like, yo, I'm watching a stream. What's up? What's you know what I'm saying? Give me an autograph. Well, I'm just saying, give me an autograph, whatever. There'll be those people. Ninja be like streaming and walking or playing in the park, and then he gets stream sniped by somebody else who's also in the park because they know where he is.
Oh, for sure.
So we can also see some regulations happening with Twitch and YouTube and all this other stuff happening. New categories beckons different new rules, I guess. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool seeing technology advance that way.
Definitely.
You got any more for me, Dio?
This is like a little thing right here, but Phantasy Star Online 2 is finally having PvP in the game. Not New Genesis yet.
Oh.
But yeah, not New Genesis yet. But
Phantasy's reaction was like, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I thought it was gonna be both games.
Because Dio got it. I mean, I downloaded it. We go in, we go ham. Don CJG comes in like boom shakalaka, and he's like, "What's up, boys?" You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that would have been epic. Yeah.
But I mean, that means that they have it in part 2. It'll eventually come to New Genesis. They're still getting a lot of the bugs with New Genesis out, in my opinion. There's still a lot of work they need to put into that game. But there's PvP now, which is cool.
When was the last time you played New Genesis? Was it? I mean, after it came out, like released.
Pretty much, because like honestly, I wasn't as impressed with the optimization, and I was kind of hoping for more, because I mean it is exclusive to Xbox, and it is Sega. I love Sega to death. I've always loved Sega, and I really expected it to be. I really thought it was gonna blow me away, and it really didn't. Like, the optimization was pretty bad. I honestly didn't think the graphics were that great. Maybe on the PC, I didn't try it on my PC. Maybe it's better on there. But I would think with the Series X, it should be able to handle it because I've played. I mean, you look at something like Destiny 2, and it runs it so smooth and it looks gorgeous. So to me, it should be able to run the game with no problem. But at least they're adding PvP in there finally, and it's going to be ranked. And based on your rank, you're going to get rewards. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So since it's adding PvP, can what would be how they're gonna balance that? Have you looked into that?
They didn't talk anything about balance. I mean, PvP's been in the Japanese version of the game for a long time, so I don't think the balancing issue is going to be so much there. And I mean, honestly, it's going to be a very casual thing as well because most people who play Phantasy Star Online anyway, don't really play to be hardcore in PvE or PvP. They just do it for the looks. Most people play it so they could, cosplay their characters and stuff.
And then here comes Ebonics, just murder that cosplayer. Be like, yo. Like, and everybody's like, what? What just happened? Did I just die? Like.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have some good players on there, but the majority of people who play, it's just like Warframe, right? Like most people who play Warframe are not super competitive. They're playing it so they can look really cool, and they're, what do they call it? Tennos, right? Tennos.
Yeah, Tennos. Yeah.
So I'm just happy that they're adding it in because that was something that to me should have been added in sooner since it existed in Japan already. But these things take time, so I'm hoping they'll add it in sooner than later, also in the Genesis. But I would definitely prefer them to get the optimization and the game running smoother first before they even think about it.
Word. So there was some things going on this week as well. We had this conversation about Sony, mostly PlayStation, and how they are treating their fan base with that extra $10, right, on top of games, right?
Okay.
I should say 70 because it's $59.99. That's $60, so it's actually $10. Yeah. So now we're hearing that the fans are slowly getting sick of, having to pay so much. So what's going on is, the games are $70, and then they re-release the games on PC anywhere between $49.99 to $59.99, right? Those are re-release games. Those are not like brand new games, I'm assuming. And then the brand new games that has probably been out for 6 months to a year, right? Let's look at Horizon Zero Dawn. It's getting a $70 price tag on PC.
Was that Forbidden West?
I think it's Forbidden West. Let me check on Steam actually.
A new one?
Yeah, it's $69.99. I think it is. And people are asking why the game's old. Why are we paying for an old game? So yeah. So right now, Horizon Zero Dawn is $49.99. Horizon Forbidden.
Yep, the complete edition. That means all the DLC and stuff.
Yes. Maybe I don't know how to spell forbidden, but the complete edition is $50. What I'm trying to do is see if their other one, where is the other one, unless it's not out yet on PC.
Yeah, I don't think it's on PC yet. I don't think it's been announced that it's gonna go there yet for sure.
Days Gone is $50. Yeah, I mean the Outer Worlds is $60. What do you think about the Outer Worlds being $60 on PC?
Outer Worlds is $60 still, really?
Yeah.
Wow, it is.
When did that game come out? Well, a while ago now, right?
I
Yeah.
think it was last year, right? It hasn't been a year, I would assume. I could be wrong, but
I feel like it might be. Nothing confusing with the other one. What sounds exactly the same.
I guess it's kind of different also because this launched on console and PC all at the same time, right?
Last year, October 23rd, yeah.
Yeah, where Horizon literally came out a year after. Or how many years after it launched on PlayStation first and then there?
Well, there's another one. Buy the Outer Worlds non-mandatory corporate sponsor bundle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Minus 7% at $87.39.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that because, like I said, like this launched on all consoles and PC all at the same time. I guess it just looks better when you look at something like Horizon, because I mean that's just marketing in itself, right? Like this is how Sony's trying to grab PC players to play their game by giving them a cheaper price. It probably sucks though, like if you're like an exclusive Sony player, like you don't want to play any other console, you don't want to play PC, and then you see that because you feel kind of betrayed in whatever way.
Yeah. You
But
got that
that's just
console
them.
and that giving you a worse deal.
Yeah, but I mean that's just them making their money. That's just how business works.
But
So
here's the other part. Returnal had no idea that their game was going to be sold for $70.
yeah, well I mean,
They were surprised.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right?
When they saw the price tag.
yeah,
I mean,
but I
okay,
mean they're not the
the-
publisher, right?
right.
So
Yeah.
That's crazy for that they can make a game and they don't even know how much it's being sold.
Because the thing about it is, like, you know, when you make a game, you have an idea of what your game is going to be sold for, and you're trying to budget your game to match that pricing, right? So that the
Yeah.
customer gets the value of the game. So a roguelike game. Is there another roguelike game that exists out there, Dio, that you feel deserves a $70 price tag?
no. I love roguelikes. Don't get me wrong. They are a lot of fun because you get if you like roguelikes, you will get hundreds of hours of gameplay because you're always getting better at it. I haven't personally played Returnal, so I can't say whether it's worth $70 or not. I can't imagine it being worth $70, but it also seems to have more a narrative compared to your regular roguelike. A lot of roguelikes don't really have a heavy narrative. Usually
Just
they kind
dungeon to dungeon
play on
type
the-
vibe.
Yeah, they usually play on the gameplay loop. That's really what keeps you hooked on it. I mean, even Hades, like, which is an amazing game, it has a good, good story, but I wouldn't say that that would be a $70 game. I mean, I think even when it launched, it was only $30 anyway.
Okay.
So, I would say that's probably your average price when you look at roguelikes. You're looking at anywhere from $20 to like $40 on the expensive end.
Gotcha.
So.
So a lot cheaper than what they're charging.
Yeah, and I mean, and the only reason that it's $70 is because the publisher Sony, right? Like if it was just
Well, not just that, but we also have to consider the technology that they put into the game. I might be catering to the PlayStation fanboy right now, but
no,
when you look at roguelikes, are there is there another game like Returnal that is third person, the whole nine, that's roguelike with the type of technology that it offers?
well, I don't know if rogue like it, but like in comparison, like technology wise, right? Like you have Senua, right?
Is that roguelike? Senua,
It's
you
not
talking
roguelike.
about?
It wasn't.
Okay,
But like I'm saying, like graphically, right? Like I don't think anyone could deny that that's like probably one of the most gorgeous games out right now.
Okay.
And it came out a while ago. But when it
Talking about
launched, there's
Hellblade.
no way. Yeah, Hellblade.
Okay.
It didn't launch at $60, did it?
No.
No.
Yeah, it's because it just wouldn't. Because in the end of the day, I mean, even though it is, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like if Sony wasn't publishing this game, there's no way it would launch at $70.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Hellblade
'Cause,
right
like-
now on Steam.
I mean, that's
is,
Sony next gen tax, you know.
at $29.99.
Yeah, because I want to say Hellblade launched maybe $40.
I would assume so as well. I'm checking now.
And I know it's not a roguelike, but to me, narratively wise, like they're not long games, both of them.
Yeah.
But they both
sounds
have a
like
narrative.
size and scale, yeah.
It was $30.
Yeah, they're both really pretty games. This does have that roguelike feature, but in the end of the day, from what I understand, it's not as heavy a roguelike compared to some of these other ones, like Hades and stuff, where you're gonna get all those hours. It's kind of like a basic roguelike. But like I said, I haven't played it, so I mean, this is just from what I'm hearing. But
Yeah.
it's still like, I think if it wasn't Sony publishing it, this game would be $40.
I would go down to like $30. I mean, Senua's Sacrifice was $30 day one. It was not.
Yeah.
So if they had a choice, they probably would have done the 30 as well. Because it seems to be. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. When I see the previews for what Returnal looks like, it looks like a not JRPG, but like a Japanese type of game. With all the bullets flying all around the place, and then you gotta dodge and dash and stuff like that. It reminds me of some like Raiden, or like those type of ship games, but you're the person instead, fighting against demons or like aliens, right? So it has that vibe, which is pretty cool. Like I would get into that, but like I die in those type of games. Like literally, like my eyes play tricks on me because I've been staring at bullets like the whole time. So at one point in time, I would get hit and I would lose man life. So because it's roguelike, I'm questioning whether it would be even worth my time to consider it. But the whole premise was the price tag, and how would a dev consider that price tag where it is now versus when they originally made the game. Yeah, that's interesting. But one game that is doing awesome is The Ascent, which is what we're looking at now. And they, this is our last topic, unless anybody has additional content. So they came up with some patches, and right now I'm just reading this off. The Ascent patch fixes to improve performance on DirectX 12. Also ray tracing. Note to players, on a first running of the update, there will be a 20 to 25 second stall on loading the main menu to allow some caching to happen before you play. This is a one-time event. Ray tracing is now available to players on Windows Store. Improved loading in of PC, so non-playable characters. And then the CPU performance mode has been lowered. They added CPU performance mode for lower end PCs. So that's the update. And the thing about it, like The Ascent has, was it 5 million? That's how much it made?
Sounds right.
Wow, really? Already?
Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, The Ascent earned 5 million during its launch weekend.
Wow.
This is enough. There is enough to pay Insomniac. No, sorry, not Insomniac. Isometric action RPG. Their debts, pretty much. So they made $5 million, and this kind of debunks the whole thing about being free to play on Game Pass, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
sure.
So kudos to The Ascent, for bringing out a game. A small team, I would assume, or indie team.
I think it's like 12 people, right?
Yeah, I thought it was like 11 or 12. Yeah.
I think it's 12, and they have a few with like people making music, whatever, on extra.
Yeah.
But
Then the core team is 12 people.
When you look in this game, you don't see 12 people though.
Oh yeah, no,
No,
it's crazy.
It's gorgeous.
Like, I was loading that game and we're playing like the first couple hours. Like, this is insane. Like just the level of like moving things in the background, and just the way it looks. It's
Level of
crazy,
detail.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fog. What was it called? Not fog. Is it fog?
God rays.
Is it God rays? I guess you can call it. Usually, God rays includes the sun. There is no sun.
Yeah. But, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. The lighting, everything about it.
Volumetric fog, I guess that's what you call it. Like, there's just certain areas that has that misty feel to it, and then there's certain areas that's like high dense trash. It's like okay. first and foremost, I'm not advocating to trash being beautiful. Okay, I'm
Better than
talking.
that cyberpunk trash.
Yo, I'm talking about like how things are placed in the world that gives it its sense of atmosphere or its own beauty in a sense. So we're not talking about poly counts or cactus needles as people wanna bash Horizon 5 on. We're talking about, you know what I'm saying, just how beautiful the world looks because of its high density of stuff that they put in, and it still runs smooth. It's still
Right,
smooth.
yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I love how like you know, it's just the civilians around, and you know, if you're fighting an enemy, they start running around, and you can end up
Yeah.
killing them. Or whatever.
Yeah, not
I
civilians, they're
love just
robots.
how alive you know it
Robots.
feels when you're playing.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
that's up there in the real world, not in the suit.
I'm constantly killing civilians in the game.
You
Oh,
are
yeah.
no way.
Yeah,
You
same.
know why? Because there are no what do you call
No
it?
repercussion for it.
No repercussions for it. Like
Oh
he's
yeah, I
been-
was shooting the cops too. It was great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like honestly, like I didn't expect much from the game, but I actually really enjoyed it, man. I can't lie.
Oh
Nice.
yeah. I was
Nice.
expecting it to be fun, but I was expecting to like, all right, I'll play it for a few hours and I'll be good. But I mean, even the music is so good. The music is really good. It feels like you're like playing in a movie, you know?
Yeah.
Like it just feels theatrical. I feel like I'm definitely like inside something like what's that movie? Damn, I can't believe I forgot it.
Who's the main
Blade
star?
Runner.
Excuse me?
Who's the main star?
Damn, I can't even think of that
Dang,
name.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
I
feels,
could,
it
like,
feels like
see
Blade
them,
Runner
uh,
for me though, you know. It's
Blade
very-
Runner. There you go. Yeah, that's literally what it feels like.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. It's very
So
the
cool.
atmosphere is so on point.
I guess I should.
Yeah, I
watch
mean-
Blade Runner. I've never seen it.
This is what I wanted from Cyberpunk.
Right.
To tell you the truth, I mean the atmosphere. I'm like, obviously there's two different games and two different play styles, but and I wanted Cyberpunk's play style to be its own, but I wanted this atmosphere in Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk
Yeah.
didn't really feel Blade Runner-y or anything like that. It felt more like GTA.
GTA. Yeah.
You know, it didn't really feel that futuristic. It kind of felt like the futuristic stuff in it were kind of like forced on it. There was definitely cool stuff in it, but it didn't feel like super futuristic, right? It kind of felt like
yeah,
what
you didn't
was
really
gonna
feel like
happen
super
10
immersed
years
in
from
the
now.
world, right?
Yeah,
No, I mean, if GTA made Cyberpunk, that's what it would have been. A Cyberpunk world. I would assume that's what it would have been.
I think
Um,
Rockstar would have probably did a better game, honestly.
They
But
probably
then
would have.
I don't know.
You know,
We would have to see.
shark cards would be digital. Digital manifestations of their digital life. So it's kind of weird. I wonder how they would do that. Would cars fly instead of drive on the road? Like, you would never know. Like, I mean, Rockstar is an English company, isn't there?
I believe they have a lot of studios everywhere, but yeah, I think there is a studio in Scotland, maybe.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
say.
Okay.
I think the main office is in New York, isn't it?
I don't know.
That's what I thought.
I don't know.
But-
Yeah, I know they've got a bunch now.
Yeah, they have a ton of them, man. They're like everywhere.
Yeah, so that would be interesting if they look at Cyberpunk. It's like, we could do better, and they dub it GTA 6.
Mm-hmm.
No,
That would be-
Cyberpunk
Yeah.
edition.
I'd be pretty hyped about that. I think that would be pretty cool.
Okay. I mean,
Did you guys try the Ascent on multiplayer yet?
I've been waiting for my homies.
I have played bit co-op. Like, I know a lot of people said they have issues with it,
Yeah.
with just weird bugs and whatnot, but I haven't really come across anything in
They
my own
fixed
time.
it with this update.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that might be why I haven't.
And I
seen
think
much
it was
of
more PC related, like Steam
Mhm.
PC related, because on the console, I think the only thing with console was just minor bug fixes, because of AI or NPC wise. But most of their issues may have been on PC. So, yep. All right. You guys got anything? Anything left? For our viewers?
No, but I will say, if anyone didn't get invited to the Back for Blood is watching, the open beta starts in a couple days, I think.
Okay.
So
awesome.
it's closed at the minute, but if you want to give the game a shot,
Oh, it's done now.
It'll be available soon. No, it's just closed beta, so it's a invite only or pre-orders.
But when is it ending? When is the closed beta ending?
I think it ends on like the 16th, maybe.
Got you.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's around for a little while.
Okay, cool. And definitely, continue to take a look at the New World and for Lost Ark. Do your research, see if it's going to be something that you'd be interested in, and if so, jump in. I know I'm interested in as well as Dio, so
Yeah, for sure.
And because it's going to be on Steam, my Steam Deck is going to be ready. I'm just saying. So,
Oh yeah, I'll be playing Lost Ark on my Steam Deck for sure.
Yeah, right. And guys, that is it. This has been the Digital Cypha Podcast. Again, I am Ebonics, joined in with the Don CJG and Dio Zales. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to do so and follow. And like if you enjoy the show. So until then, the Digital Cypha Podcast signing out. Have a good weekend, guys.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.